Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, December 30th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast, and I am your host. I am your presenter for the evening, Jeremy Pierce, and we got something special for you today. But before we get into all of that, you know you can check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and the 215 on Twitter. Coffee, Patreon pages are up as well, and there will be a Wix site, not a Square site, coming. Weebly. It's a work in progress. I'm getting there, but today's show we have the second annual Cutter Awards, or is this the first annual? Well, whatever. These are the year-end awards presented to you. And we've got some really good categories today, but for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. All right, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I are coming together for the second annual Cutter Awards, and these are your year-end awards with some really, really good categories and some great nominees. So let's get into our first award, Breakout Star of the Year. Now, the Breakout Star of the Year is essentially someone that has elevated themselves up into the card. They may have been wrestling for a couple years, couple months, long time, but they have elevated themselves from a place higher than they were before. And the nominees are Swerve Strickland, Dominic Mysterio, Trick Williams, Julia Hart, Skye Blue, and L.A. Knight. Yeah! And the Cutter goes to Trick Williams. Now, I chose Trick over essentially Swerve and L.A. Knight and Julia Hart, to say the least, because you can see the growth that was coming. L.A. Knight, yes, had a breakout year, and Swerve as well, but the Trick Williams hype train really surprised us and really came out of nowhere. He's slowly but surely climbing and up the NXT card and has really elevated himself. So for that, I chose Trick Williams for the Breakout Star of the Year. All right, next up we have the Rookie of the Year award, and this doesn't necessarily mean your first year in wrestling, because that changes throughout time. What the Rookie of the Year award is, it's the first year that you truly saw someone put it together and were really recognized for the work that they've been doing. And the nominees are Lola Vice, Billie Starkz, Kilynn King, Myron Reed, and Bryan Keith. And the Cutter goes to Billie Starkz. And I think this one wasn't even close. Billie has, for the better part of this year, been doing some excellent work. She could even been a nominee for the Breakout Star of the Year, but capitalizing on the work she's been doing with Athena, working with that veteran, being able to grow and learn in this business, and essentially at such a young age, main event a pay-per-view and put on a banger of a match, that earned her this award. So our Rookie of the Year goes to Billie Starkz. All right, our next award is the Best Men's Heel Performer. And essentially, these are men that you hate, that you despise, that you want to see get their comeuppance. They're sneaky, they're dangerous, they're evil, they're mean. And the nominees are Matt Cardona, Christian Cage, Swerve Strickland, Roman Reigns, and Don Callis. And the cutter goes to Christian Cage. And come on, y'all. Did you really think there was going to be someone else to win this award? Did you really think someone besides Christian Cage was going to be given the best men's heel performer award? Come on. The man is dirty. The man is disgusting, and he's doing it with a smile on his face from essentially co-opting Luchasaurus TNT Championship reign to stealing it, to stealing Shayna Wayne's son, to stealing Shayna Wayne, and saying some of the most vile things imaginable and doing it with a smile on his face. There was no one else besides Christian to get this award. Going on the opposite side of the men's heel, we have our best women's face performer. Now, this category is a little bit hard because it's really, really hard to really find a true definitive face, especially in this division that's not named Willow Nightingale, or she would just win this award every single year. But these women put a smile on your face. They have the positivity, and essentially they rally you behind them. And the nominees are Becky Lynch, Willow Nightingale, Trinity, Billie Starkz, and Maxxine Dupri. And the cutter goes to Trinity. Our Impact Wrestling Women's Champion came in like a house of fire and rallied the troops, carrying that torch, carrying that championship past the likes of Mickie James and Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace. Trinity is someone you ultimately can get behind no matter what. And this was almost really, really tough because you also have Willow Nightingale and Billie Starkz in this category, who are great faces who you love, and Maxxine Dupri has slowly climbed up the leaderboard as someone you can definitely get behind. But Trinity carrying that championship and carrying that brand, it just worked. All right, we have the return of the year, and it's essentially someone that's come back into the limelight, whether it's for a day or back for good, wrestling in the ring. This wasn't an easy race. This wasn't an easy category to really get some nominees for, because there were some really good returns this year. So let's go over the nominees. We have AJ Styles, R-Truth, Randy Orton, Carlito, The Rock, and CM Punk. And the cutter goes to The Rock. Yes, I chose The Rock over CM Punk because even though they were both telegraphed, The Rock's was just on a different level. CM Punk has made multiple returns this year alone, so they kind of get watered down with The Rock, who we just haven't seen in a minute, showing up and just having a good old time. It just worked, man. The People's Champion with Pat McAfee and Austin Theory taking those bumps, Grayson Waller, it just worked, y'all. So The Rock gets the cutter for best return of 2023. And now we have feud of the year. There have been a lot of feuds in wrestling this year, a lot of really good feuds this year. And we're going to talk about them. We're going to get these nominees out the way. So we have Gunther versus Chad Gable feuding over the Intercontinental Championship. Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes feuding over the NXT Championship. Frankie Kazarian and Eddie Edwards feuding for respect and their shared history of being under the same trainer. Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page, with Swerve coming for a Hangman spot, and Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. And the cutter goes to Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page. Yeah. I know this might be shocking, but their brief feud, which I think will end up becoming a long-lasting rivalry over the careers as long as they stay in AEW, Swerve and Hangman put on something special, and Swerve came out on top on both of those matches. Yes, I know Kenny and Will Ospreay have made magic many times, but there was something really, really personal about Swerve and Hangman, especially Swerve going into Hangman's house and Hangman dropping those words of wisdom and bombs on Swerve. This was something special, something brutal, and I can't wait for it to continue. All right, I hope you all enjoying the show. We have now Best Women's Heel Performer, and I really like this category. These women have really made a name for themselves and etched something in stone with their heelish performances. And they're doing really good work right now. And the nominees are Julia Hart, Timeless Toni Storm, Athena, Steph DeLander, and Rhea Ripley. And the cutter goes to Timeless Toni Storm. I chose Toni because the delusional heel work that she's doing is better than what the other women are doing. Julia has finally found a niche and started making a name for herself. She is your current TBS champion, and joining the House of Black has done wonders for her career. Athena is your forever champion, but she's starting to feel more like a tweener than a heel. Steph DeLander popped onto the scene, aligning herself with Matt Cardona and doing some really great work on indie scenes. And yes, we all love Mommy and Rhea Ripley, but she's also really popular. So is Toni, but Toni's actually doing heelish things. I think she's the top women's heel in AEW right now, just above Julia Hart. So Toni Storm takes home the Best Women's Heel Performer. And now we get to the Best Men's Face Performer. And these are men who you support wholeheartedly with all your hearts. That's what wholeheartedly means. And you just rally behind them. You want to see them succeed. And the nominees are Seth freaking Rollins, Mark Briscoe, L.A. Knight, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Cody Rhodes. And the cutter goes to Cody Rhodes. Now, this category was really hard in choosing a winner, especially when you have Mark Briscoe and L.A. Knight in the same category. Mark Briscoe is just the ultimate baby face, but that injury took him out, so he missed a lot of time this year. But he brought that back with the Continental Classic, whereas Cody, year in, year out, since coming to the WWE, you want to see him succeed. You're behind him 100%. And that feud with Brock Lesnar, no matter how random it was, really got you behind Cody because you wanted to see Cody come out on top. And small feuds with Shinsuke Nakamura and a few others has really helped grow him as a babyface and get that AEW stink, that last run of AEW stink off of him, not putting any shade on AEW. And now we get to our tag team of the year, more specifically, the men's tag team of the year. These are guys that will just give you the best tag team matches that you'll see, and they do it on such a really good consistent basis. And the nominees are FTR, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the Judgment Day, the Motor City Machine Guns, the House of Black, and ABC. And the cutter goes to FTR. This might cause a little bit of controversy, but they've just consistently been the best tag team of professional wrestling this year. Sammy and KO had a really good and beautiful run, but it ended, in my opinion, too soon. And the Judgment Day have finally started getting on a run at the end of the year. Motor City Machine Guns come close, and same thing with the House of Black. And even ABC, but FTR does this consistently. It's what they do. It's who they are. And I don't think you could find any tag team this year that's had better tag team matches than Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. On the opposite end, we have the best, women's tag team of the year. And just like I said with the men, these are women that have put in the work, that have grown, that have meshed very, very well as a team. And even though we get a lot of teams today in women's wrestling, I'm looking at you, WWE, where just two singles wrestlers thrown together, sometimes that does work, and then they end up meshing very, very well. So the nominees are the team of MK Ultra, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, the Coven, the Hex, the Outcast. And the cutter goes to MK Ultra. I don't think this was even close. All the other teams are good. Chelsea and Piper were really, really surprising in how well they were together, but this was just a team of happenstance. The Hex, great on the indie scene. The Outcast did some really good work this year, and the Coven were really dominant. That was until MK Ultra came along. Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly, after their feud versus each other, ended up becoming a rivalry out of respect, decided to team up, and they have become the most dominant women's tag team in professional wrestling today. They just are. They have no problem getting down and dirty and beating the holy hell out of you. They just don't. And now they are the current Knockouts Tag Team Champions, and it's going to be really, really hard to picture them losing the championships. I'm looking for really, really bigger things for them in 2024. What is professional wrestling without factions? They just help, and when done right, they work. Factions have really become the backbone of professional wrestling, and we need them. And there were some good factions this year in professional wrestling. So, without further ado, these are the nominees for Faction of the Year: the Judgment Day, the Bloodline, the Metaphor, Alpha Academy, the House of Black, the Black Bull Combat Club, and Bullet Club Gold. And the cutter goes to the Judgment Day. Now, for me specifically, this was honestly a 2-horse race between the Judgment Day and Bullet Club Gold. But I had to give it the Judgment Day. Ever since, I want to say, WrestleMania, the Judgment Day have been the number one draw on Raw. They have main evented nearly every single Raw this year. And they work. We're starting to get to the tail end of the Judgment Day, but the core of Rhea, Dom, Finn, and Damian just works. They can lose matches and it won't really affect them. They can help get people over, and they're already over themselves. So that's why the Judgment Day are the faction of the year. The Bloodline, we're hopefully getting to the end of that. The Metaphor just came together, but they've shown that they work. Alpha Academy are really, really good fan favorites. House of Black are here and then they disappear, but they're still great. The Black Bull Combat Club consistently put in great work, and Bullet Club Gold have been just absolutely fun and amazing. But the Judgment Day are just too consistent in the domination and the hold that they have on Monday Night Raw. And now we get down into the nitty gritty, because our next award is Female Wrestler of the Year. Now this category is tough, because every single woman nominated here were absolutely fantastic in their performances this year. From championships won to amazing matches, these women are the standard bearer of professional wrestling today. And the nominees are Rhea Ripley, Trinity, Julia, Athena, Becky Lynch, and Toni Storm. And the cutter goes to Rhea Ripley. It's tough, because part of me really wanted to give this award to either Julia or Athena. Both have been dominant champions, especially Athena, who is our forever champion. But Rhea Ripley is operating on a different level right now. She has put it all together, and honestly, the only person that can truly compare to her is Athena. So this was essentially a 2-horse race with Julia pulling up the rear, but Rhea Ripley, after her win at WrestleMania, has been nothing short of amazing. Yes, she may not have had the best opponents, but that's not on her. And when she's giving something to work with, it just works. We're getting to the point where when she's not on screen with the Judgment Day, when she's not on screen, we're asking ourselves, where's Rhea Ripley? Where is Rhea Ripley? It's that simple. She has been a dominant champion, and now that we're moving into WrestleMania season, she's going to be showing you what she's truly capable of. Following up the Women's Performer of the Year with the Men's Performer of the Year, these men operate on a different level. They have, for the better part of this year, they have put on some of the best matches you will see this year, have done some really amazing character work, championships won, dream matches. These men, just like the women before them, are the standard bearers for today. And the nominees are Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Bryan Danielson, MJF, and Will Ospreay. And the cutter goes to Will Ospreay. This was very easy to choose. As great as Cody and Danielson, and to a lesser extent Seth and MJF have been this year, Will Ospreay has just been on a different level. The best matches of the year feature Will Ospreay, most of them. He is doing some great work, and now that he is all elite, that will only get bigger. The star power of Will Ospreay will only grow more, and he still will be able to work with TNA. He'll still be able to work with New Japan. But what he's going to do in AEW, I don't think people will be ready for. Tag team match of the year. Tag team wrestling is a special art form. It's psychology is what carries it. And when you have two men or three men and or women that know each other so well, tag team wrestling becomes beautiful. And what we have for you today are the 5 best tag team matches of the year. And the nominees are, from Final Battle, FTR and Mark Briscoe versus the Blackpool Combat Club in a fight without honor. From Collision, July 15th, 2023, FTR versus Jay White and Juice Robinson in the 2 of 3 falls match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. From Rampage, Winter is Coming, December 15th, 2023, Top Flight in Action, Andretti versus Penta El Zero Miedo, Commander, and El Hijo del Vikingo. From Double or Nothing, The Elite versus the BCC in an Anarchy in the Arena match. And from WrestleMania 39, the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. And the cutter goes to FTR versus Jay White and Juice Robinson in the 2 of 3 falls match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. This match right here, I remember sitting down, I guess we're watching Collision, and they had a match, I think a week before or 2 weeks before. Like, that match was really, really good. And then they gave us this. This match went nearly an hour. And you saw the beauty of tag team wrestling. You saw the beauty of teamwork, skill, dedication, psychology, what happens when you give it your all. This was beautiful. And we've had great tag team matches since then, but nothing came close to this one. So for that, FTR Jay White, they get the cutter. Men's match of the year. Now, occasionally this tag team matches aren't excluded. They just have to be up onto the level of these other matches. But these matches will stand the test of time, and they will go down history as just great. And there's a little something here for everyone, but you're going to notice a little trend here. And the nominees are Forbidden Door, Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Wrestle Kingdom 17, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. From Bound for Glory, Will Ospreay versus Speedball Mike Bailey. From Wrestle Dream, Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page in a Texas Death Match. And from Revolution, MJF versus Bryan Danielson in a 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Championship. And the cutter goes to Forbidden Door, Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, this was easy. The only other match that I would have probably picked to top this was the Bound for Glory match. Will Ospreay operates on a different level than anyone else. And even though the Wrestle Kingdom match was phenomenal, they upped the ante because Will Ospreay lost that Wrestle Kingdom match. And he was a man on a mission to get that championship back. And that's what he did. He and Kenny Omega know each other so well. And they gave us this beautiful, beautiful disaster of chaos and moves and hate and anger and pain and love for the sport. These two are destined to do this forever. Women's wrestling is always a two-edged sword because when they're giving the time, the respect to do what they do, we love it. But then you always have other people that hate it. So screw those guys. We have here the women's match of the year. When women are given the same, afforded the same opportunities as the men, and being allowed to grow and grind and put on something special, they can do it. We've seen it all the time, and we have it right here with this list of women's matches of the year. These matches were phenomenal. They made us laugh, they made us cry, they kept us on the edge of our seat, and they gripped us. And the nominees are WrestleMania 39, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Impact 1000, Team Kong versus Team Beautiful People. Victory Road, Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace. Final Battle, Athena versus Billie Starkz for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And from Rampage, the January 27th show, 2023, Jamie Hayter versus Emi Sakura in the AEW Women's Championship Eliminator. And the cutter goes to WrestleMania 39, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. This was one of the few categories where initially I thought it was a toss-up and it could have gone to any of these matches, but then one just slightly edged the others, and that was the WrestleMania match between Charlotte and Rhea. As much as you all know that I do not like Charlotte Flair, she does come to play when the lights are bright. And Rhea Ripley had to get her W back after losing to Charlotte at WrestleMania 37 during the pandemic, losing the NXT Women's Championship. So Charlotte had to put that championship on the line, the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line, and this match was everything. There was always the creeping doubt of LOL, Charlotte wins, but Rhea overcame it, and Rhea won. All the other matches were just as beautiful, just as engaging, with my favorite actually on this list being the women's eliminator match. But Athena Billie Starkz was beautiful. Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace, two of the mainstays of Impact Wrestling's women's division, giving us one final battle between these two amazing women. And of course, the celebration of the Knockouts division, Team Kong versus the Team Beautiful People. I really wanted to give it to this, but Rhea and Charlotte essentially stole it, and that's not a bad thing. So there is your women's match of the year. Head booker, showrunner. These are the men that have the creative control. These are the men that put the shows together, or women. I don't think there's a female booker right now. I don't think there's a female booker right now. But these guys put on the show. They put together the matches, the storylines, the order, the placement. So who booked the best show this year? The nominees are Shawn Michaels for NXT, Scott D'Amore for Impact /TNA, Triple H for Raw and SmackDown, and Tony Khan for AEW Ring of Honor. And the cutter goes to Scott D'Amore for Impact /TNA. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care if you're upset. Impact has put on the best weekly show week in and week out, crossing over with other promotions like AAA, like New Japan, giving us great storylines that are both serious, that are both funny, that just work. Scott D'Amore is also not afraid to get into the ring. He's a member of Team Canada. And celebrating this year of Impact, transitioning to TNA next year, it just worked. And yes, I think everybody here nominated were good, but everybody's had ups, but nobody's had as few as many downs, has had as few downs as Scott D'Amore. So for that is why he gets head booker. Best weekly show. Wrestling never sleeps. Wrestling never stops. So what show, week in and week out, has been the best? Well, that's what we're here to decide. The nominees are AEW Collision, AEW Dynamite, WWE Friday Night SmackDown, WWE Monday Night Raw, WWE NXT, and Impact Wrestling. And the cutter goes to Impact Wrestling. Yeah, it's 2 for 2 right now. Again, not many downs, not many low points when it comes to Impact Wrestling this year. NXT finally got good, but it took them a minute to get there. Raw has 2 major stinks on it. Raw 30 and the Raw of WrestleMania. SmackDown had a low point where Vince was back. And Dynamite gives you great stuff every week, but occasionally there's that match is like, why is this here? And then once again, not having more than one women's match on the show hurts. Same goes for Collision, even though Collision's gotten really good. That's why Impact gets this award. That's why they get the best weekly show. And I expect them to keep putting on great weekly shows next year when they rebrand back to TNA Wrestling. And here we are at the end of the show. The top award, the one everyone wants. Promotion of the year. Promotion of the year is when you put it all together, your wrestlers, your stories, your weekly shows, your pay-per-views, your branding, the type of matches you put on, your relevancy. How have you put it all together? That's what this award encompasses. So, without further ado, promotion of the year. The nominees are the WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, NXT, and Ring of Honor. And the cutter goes to Impact Wrestling. Yeah, 3 for 3. I don't know what to tell you, man. They have just been nothing short of great this year, and transitioning to this rebrand just helps. Yes, the crowds aren't the biggest, and I wish they had more national recognition and people can stop attributing the old stink of the Hulk Hogan Dixie Carter era on them. But Impact was just very good this year. Very, very good this year. All these companies were, but Impact has been so consistent with it. I'm ready for more from them. I understand, you're going to pick WWE, you're going to pick AEW, but if you're not watching Impact Wrestling, you're really, really missing out. That is our show, ladies and gentlemen. The 2023 Cutter Awards are over and done with. We will be getting ready for 2024. Got some big things on the horizon. I cannot wait. Don't forget to check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, the 215 on Twitter, Coffee, Patreon, website is going live soon. Next week, we will be having our 2024 predictions, and stay tuned for the January schedule. as they will be posted in the next couple of days. And as always, Gigi Dolan, Bailey, Isla Dawn, Willow Nightingale, and Chris Statlander. Holla at your boy. Peace.